Just like to review our meeting protocol here, including the Zoom protocol. When the variance is being requested, we have the applicant come and present the variance to us as to why they would like a variance. After they've presented their information, then the board members have the opportunity to ask them any further questions for clarification. When the applicants presented all of the information they feel they need to, we can then ask if there are any comments or questions that anyone in the audience, which is somewhat scarce tonight, but would like to address to the board. And then after that, if the applicants are satisfied with what they've presented and the board is satisfied, we can close the public hearing. We have 62 days to make a decision after closing the public hearing, but generally we'll make the decision tonight. So, okay, first one. So we got to get the mic one. First one is Kevin Farrell, 3470 Sandy Beach Drive. Applicants requesting an approval of 2 area variances for a 12 by 27 foot deck, 5.75 rear setback to the lake is variance is requested, whereas 24.75 is proposed and 30 is required. A lot coverage variance of 0.6%, where 30.6% is proposed and 30% is the maximum.
He is not here.
He is not here.
Well,
This has been the third
I was
time.
gonna say this is,
he-
And I guess patience wears thin. I don't know. Do you think we should make a new application?
Chris has given us guidance on that before. How many times in a row can somebody no show, Chris?
As many times as you're comfortable with. One of the standards is that the burden is on the applicant to prove by satisfactory and substantial evidence that they're entitled to the variance. If they're not doing that, you have the option. It's really your choice. How many times has this been?
This is the 4th time we've seen this case. He was supposed to be here last month, did not show up.
It's the 4th no-show?
No, it's the 4th time we've gone over this where he has changed variances and gone through different amendments to his plan. This is actually a year in April.
Well, if
This
he's-
is
I mean,
the
if he's-
second no show.
If he's
This is the
worked on it,
second.
Yes, it's the 2nd no show.
I don't know. If he's been communicative in the past, I'd give him another chance, but that's not really a legal standard. It's more of a community standard. We don't know what's going on, and I'd hate to see a guy have to reapply. That's just a waste of everybody's time and money.
Okay, we can put it off a month.
One more time.
With the understanding that it's the last chance.
3 strikes and you're out.
Can we reach out to them and, just kind of let them know that,
I have been, so is Sarah, we've all reached out to him, we haven't got any response.
oh, really? Okay.
Well, if that's the case, I make a motion that we terminate this application and he can apply later.
For a second to that.
I'll second it.
Man, I guess it just, people don't understand it. We have to look at these things before each meeting. And prepare ourselves for ruling on.
If Sarah's reached out and
If they're reaching out.
to me and you're not getting any response back at all, I mean, there has to be a little consideration on their part as well.
I think the problem lies too, that like when we have so many cases, like lately it hasn't been too bad of an agenda, but I mean, he's taken a spot for somebody else that could be, filing and being, actually attending the meeting. So he's been lucky because we really haven't had too bad of a full schedule, but
You can do a voice vote or whatever way you want to do it.
If the majority want to leave it on for another month, that's fine too. It's,
And I don't disagree with that. At this
I
point,
would actually favor that. Like, let's give him one more opportunity and then he's out if he doesn't.
I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay, all right.
Well, I hate to see him have to pay again for,
That's-
No, it's not about,
That's true, but
it is
it's-
true, I agree with that.
And I think we had raised the question about, on this particular one, about having no change made to the
Yep.
deck. But the distances keep changing.
Yep.
And I think that.
okay.
Let me make a suggestion. If the
Yeah.
board wanted to vote right now to say, you don't have to vote right, don't have to do this, but if you wanted to feel better about making this motion on in the future, have staff put something on zoning board applications that says 2 no call, no shows, and you're automatically get a denial.
That's a good suggestion.
You can think about it. It's not something you've gone this far without it, but so you can go more, but if you wanted to, you could do that.
All right, we talked about that a little bit more at the end after.
Yeah.
Some of the variances.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is 8012 Arbor Hill Trail, Home Power Systems. Sabrina Martin. Anyone from Home Power Systems here? Rick Whitehall's, no. Yes. I mean, as we talked about before, generators are somewhat
And generators are on our agenda. for
on there,
later.
yeah. The only question I had about this, which I hope the guy who was gonna install it would have answered, was why it has to be in back and not on the side, because several others right there are on sides. I think it could be put on the side without a variance. I wanted to ask him, there may be a reason he has to put it in back.
Should we continue?
Let's we'll continue this hearing until the next time. All right. Okay, this one is Hunter Reed, Ladding Road. Applicant is requesting a 10-foot side setback variance for a driveway where 10 feet is required and 0 is proposed. Yes.
John Jones, Marks Engineering here with,
Up. Both of them.
here with, Hunter, the applicant. Yeah, we're asking for a driveway variance. It's a bit of a complicated property. It's 2 separate parcels, and if you zoom in there. So this piece is owned by Mr. Hunter, and the piece directly behind it that's outlined by yellow is also owned by Mr. Reed. That's where the new house is going. This little sliver here is how he accesses public right of way. So the driveway, and this piece is actually in the town of Hopewell. The driveway is gonna go along this little sliver here and then cross over onto Canandaigua side and where the house is going right here. So the variance request is for 0 feet because we obviously cross over the property line in there. But it's yeah, so this is, these purple lines here are actually the town line, so this is all Canandaigua. This is Hopewell, that's Manchester, this is Farmington. So it's a bit of an odd little squares in there, but yeah, so that's basically what we're applying for, is a 0 foot setback on the driveway. And yeah, so
So. Mike, with regards to art. Section of it, just that little bit at the end.
Oh, the whole piece of property.
The whole yellow square is in.
I know, but In terms of,
Right, going from there to there, that line right there is crossing to another town.
yes,
So our code says the driveway has to be 10 foot from a property line, obviously they can't do that, so they gotta go across that. So there's zero clearance.
what is, has Hope, oh, look at this.
Hopewell's
No,
no.
both those looked at, there was, I think Sarah uploaded from Justin at Hopewell, thought from the email from him stating he had no concern with the driveway location. Should be somewhere in there. As well as from Manchester as well, they issued I think actually.
They cut the driveway off.
Yeah, I think they already
Yeah.
cut the driveway in the right of way, actually, so.
Just my own concern is we're coming to us for the whole length of the thing is we got 0 feet on each side. We're got 0 feet on that side. Now, how do you maintain the driveway? While there's snow over on the, I realize it's the same person now.
No, so it's not 0 feet. Correct me if I'm wrong
No, you're right,
here,
you're right.
here, Mike, it's not 0 feet from these, it's 0 feet just because we're crossing. There's probably, I don't know, 5 to 10 feet on each side of the driveway from these lines. It's only 0 feet because.
Yeah, the site plan, it shows it curving over
Correct me if
the
I'm
actual
wrong,
driveway.
Hey, Mike,
Yeah.
for those of us on Zoom, could you kind of point to that on the, because we
Sure.
can't see what you're pointing to?
So, see right here?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, this is Hopewell, and this is Canandaigua, so they need 0 clearance, because they're going over. It's the only way they can get through, that's the only way they're gonna get access to the road, so
Where they're coming across the line there.
that's 0 clearance. Because
Right.
that's the property line right here, so you can't, they're going over the property
Yeah.
line instead of next to it.
Got that, but how far is the driveway then from the
On this side
line in
here,
front? No, the perpendicular, the back of the other property.
The Canandaigua side.
Yeah, the side setback from it's too.
how far is all this here?
No, the driveway to the width to the boundary line there. On the Canandaigua side,
Yeah,
both
from
sides
like
of the
there to
driveway.
there, right
Yep,
here.
there.
here's-
Right, he's
Right.
talking
From
There, yes.
Right.
Oh. It's gotta be on the plan, I didn't-
Yeah, I don't know that measurement off the top of my head, we could we could measure it if we have a scale.
There's plenty of room to have, like, there's gonna be like you were saying, like a good 5 feet maybe from the pin to the edge of the driveway.
But I,
But
Yeah, but
the,
what's
but I think your
code?
requirement is 10,
right,
That's why we're
yeah.
applying for the variance.
but you're applying for it in one side, not for the other side. That's what,
I don't know.
that's what we're trying to
This side
clarify.
is more than 10 feet.
That is
Okay.
more than 10
Yes,
feet.
this is more than 10 feet. This is the one that's needs, because it's coming through here.
It's only because it's crossing the line.
Okay.
Okay, that's right.
We just
And so
wanna-
this will be subject to site plan review, I'm assuming?
Yes,
Yeah,
The
Yeah,
planning
because-
board will require a, some sort of an access agreement, which, guarantees access over the smaller parcel to get to the house, and it'll also include maintenance and that kind of thing, so there's no concern there.
No, I just was checking to see if you were coming over sooner than you had to, whether that would make another variance. But
no, we're coming through pretty much the only spot we can.
Isn't this like the ultimate flag lot?
yes.
Yes.
Well, it's actually 2 lots,
Yeah,
so this is the way they cut down the town boundaries. Again, it's also an old lot.
I was gonna say, if this came to be subdivided, well, we wouldn't allow it. to be subdivided.
No, we wouldn't allow it to be subdivided, but that's on the Hopewell side, so.
Right.
I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, so this line here that will cross.
Can
I interrupt for a minute?
Property on the south side, right, or not south, but bottom side.
Yeah, that little 2.9 acres there, yeah, he owns both of those.
Can I interrupt for a minute?
Yes, no,
My name's Mark Stryker,
Okay,
and we own the property on the Hopewell side and the Canandaigua side.
okay,
And just to be clear, that property is in a conservation easement with the Finger Lakes Land Trust and New York State Ag and Markets. I have spoken to Finger Lakes Land Trust today about that. Kind of up to how we would feel about that being that close to, a conservation easement. My bigger concern is the drainage on where the driveway comes out on Hopewell. And even though that is in the town of Hopewell, but it is at the very corner of Canandaigua, it's a unique corner. Canandaigua, Farmington, Manchester, Hopewell all come together at that point. And there have been some drainage issues off of our Hopewell field where that field floods and goes across Ladding Road and into the neighbor's yard in Farmington. And Farmington, even though it's on the Canandaigua side of the road, Farmington maintains both sides of Ladding Road, whereas on the Hopewell side, the town of Manchester maintains Hopewell's side and Manchester. And last year, Farmington on the Canandaigua side installed a catch basin and a drainage tile that runs westbound to the creek that's there. And unfortunately, the catch basin was installed too high and the water still doesn't make it to that catch basin on the Canandaigua corner, the very corner of the town of Canandaigua. In that, I have had a phone conversation with Jason from the town of Manchester, highway superintendent, on how to fix that. So my concern is the water flow coming across, even though it's my field in Hopewell, but yet it has to go underneath through some type of a culvert to get underneath this gentleman's driveway, Mr. Reed's property, to get to that catch basin somehow, and the water eventually goes to the creek to the west. The map that you have up here right now is not the map that you should be looking at. You should be looking at a different map of this and a better view of how the engineer has this all drawn out. This isn't in enough detail. They have a better map of this somewhere within the designs for all of this that the board should be looking at. This is too vague that you're looking at right now. That's a better map. And you need to take and kind of blow that up a little bit. I don't know if, I guess, need to make sure that out here by the road, out by Ladding Road, that all that drainage needs to be addressed, because it does eventually have to go to the town of Canandaigua. Even though it's from Hopewell, the water here runs westbound into Canandaigua. I don't have any real issue with the setbacks. I understand if he wants to build a house back there, he's probably going to have the rules bent a little bit to get through where his driveway is. But the biggest concern is, and I know it's Hopewell, but the biggest concern is the water flow and the floodwaters that basically come across there and head west into Canandaigua. There is, to me, that's an issue that is basically should be a concern of all four towns, Manchester, Hopewell, Farmington, and Canandaigua, on how all that gets fixed. I believe
So-
I think that there should be more of a study done in regards to how that water should flow, that runoff should flow. I wonder if the county soil and water should be involved in regards to how that is all going to happen. I see in his plan on the Hopewell side that there is a concrete catch basin that they have for in the driveway right there. But having been there for 25 years and the way the water flow goes that way, I don't know if that's enough design to take care of the water flows that come off of that 70-acre piece of property there. And again, I do understand that we're in the town of Hopewell, and it's a complicated parcel, but yet it still affects all 4 towns, believe it or not, just that little culvert piece right there. Because if you'd seen the neighbor's yard across Ladding Road and on the Farmington side, if you'd seen that, how it got flooded, you would be concerned too. And I don't foresee the future in regards to the way the climate change is coming. I don't foresee that situation with the flow of water coming through there getting any better. So I think in the whole big picture of things, I mean, the gentleman will have a very nice house setting out back. He's in a conservation, he's going to look out over 150 acres worth of field that will never have a house built on it while I'm alive, because I think it's a 100-year lease. So he's in a really nice spot, and I'd want to build a house back there too. But it's the infrastructure that's a problem. It's an infrastructure that needs to be addressed. I believe it can be fixed, but it needs to be put out so everyone is aware of it. These flows where the water just takes off, and they need to be controlled. And this is right in I guess it's right in the middle of what needs to get fixed. And I don't know, I just want to make sure that there's some type of fix to it, because the neighbors don't want the water running across the road, and this gentleman doesn't want to have his driveway washing out either. So I guess I just wanted to make you aware of that. And I have no problem with having a new neighbor there. You never know when you might need one, but just that the driveway is a problem for all 4 towns, literally. And as long as that gets addressed, that should be first and foremost before anything gets started, because we've got spring rains coming, and I know full well it's going to go right across the road there again.
I think, what we can only address directly is just where the driveway goes across from one town into the other, across the property line. We can, however, put some conditions on, and maybe we should maybe condition it on the fact that the 4 towns have an adequate engineering plan for what to do with that when it's out of the road there.
Well, first of all, we'll say there is an existing culvert there already under the driveway.
No, it's not. No.
I will say there
No,
was
sorry.
an old one,
wait.
and Manchester removed it when they cut the driveway,
okay.
so I was.
Just some rules, guys, sorry.
Yeah, let's,
Sorry.
Everybody addresses the board, you do not address each other,
Sorry,
so, and you take your turns, so
I apologize.
that's fine, that's fine, so. Thank you, Mr. Stryker.
Yeah.
And I do think we
Yeah.
want to go back to the presenter.
Yep.
Yeah, and the other thing I would say, I wouldn't
so there
condition.
is or is not a culvert under there now?
So I thought there was one there last time I knew, but apparently it's been removed by the town of Manchester when they put the new road cutting. So I was wrong in that regard.
Thank you.
But I assume Mr. Reed will be installing a new culvert in place of that one. And then the second part of that is I wouldn't condition the ZBA approval based on all 4 towns agreeing on an engineering plan, like that's.
I wouldn't necessarily, I guess we could recommend that this be looked at, I guess we couldn't.
Well,
just-
this still has to go to the planning.
Yeah, it
Right.
still has to go to the
They don't
planning
have,
board.
they have.
Tonight-
The planning board has to take.
Tonight, we're
into
just looking at this
consideration.
variance.
Yeah,
Right,
well, we can make recommendations to the.
to the planning
to
board,
look
for
at.
sure.
Sure.
Can I ask Mr. Stryker a question?
Sure.
Mr. Stryker, you own both sides of that driveway, correct?
No, just the east side
All right,
of that right of way. We own the east side. Basically, what it was the previous owner of that property before we purchased that back in 2000. Mr. Warburton and Mr. Max Esther were good friends, and Max had wanted an extra access to the back of that parcel.
okay, so that's how that was titled. That was my question.
It was supposed to be a right of way. And that's how it's always been worded. It's been worded as being a right of way so that Max Esther could access that particular parcel, just as it's drawn out there. But Max also owns the parcel to the west of this one. He owns both of those parcels back where the fish ponds are. And of course, that parcel has access out to Ladding Road, to the west of here. Max owns them. He owns them both. If you're looking at that and you see all those fish ponds right there, that property is also owned by Max, and it's also up for sale. We happen to own on both sides of Max. We own to the east of that parcel that comes out on Ladding Road in Hopewell. And we also own to the west of that parcel in fact, that's my home right there, where the big pond is out back. That's our parcel there also. And that's also in a conservation easement. So Max is kind of sandwiched, and Mr. Reed, they're kind of sandwiched in between. I've got them surrounded. I could say. So
is that, excuse me, is that, the fish ponds? I'm trying to get the area. That is Canandaigua or Hopewell? Which,
that's Canandaigua.
Canandaigua, okay.
Canandaigua, yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's Canandaigua, and believe me, correct me if I'm wrong, Hunter, but you did purchase that property, right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, so Mr. Reed owns the pond property as well.
Okay. So you go.
Now I really got them surrounded.
Just so everybody is up to date.
Sure.
All right. So any help that you can send forward to anybody in regards to basically our four corners there, it would be greatly appreciated, I'm sure, in regards to erosion, in regards to the water, in regards to everything that moves through there. You can actually see the water flow in that field. You can see those darker lines, and where that goes out to the road, that is all a concentrated flow. And I'm serious, it's a concentrated flow area through there, and it eventually has to go westbound. So I appreciate your time. I really do. I appreciate all your thoughts, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's no access through Max's property to Reed's property there on the west side there. That doesn't go all the way to the road there. There's not an opportunity to put a driveway there or anything to get back to your property in that direction.
The pond property, it does access the right of way all the way to the left, right there.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about, I can't see the line there, but that right along the road there, that's right where that arrow is, there's no that's not part of Max's
Oh,
property.
no,
Okay,
no, that's a
all right.
separate piece.
I'm not asking you to put your driveway all the way around all the time.
Leisurely drive.
Where do we stand with flag lots? Because I'm assuming, just like you said, Dave, this is like the mother of all flag lots, right?
It's not a flag lot because it's a separate lot.
Is it?
Right.
Oh, okay. So we're not. Okay,
Well, also, we're not establishing a lot with this.
Correct.
if you put the driveway in, would it be considered a flag lot? And what?
No, because this is Hopewell.
Okay, got it.
So if you move that over on the other side and can't name it, this would never get approved.
No.
Right, that's where my concern was, exactly, so. Got it,
That breaks the lot in a lot of reasons.
right.
If he's bought the other property, you come through that.
Okay.
We can call it a cluster lot, how about that?
Any other questions the board has?
No.
Anybody in the audience here? Give me more.
No, I don't.
Close the public hearing. Close the public hearing. We have 62 days to make the decision, but I suspect we'll get to it tonight. That's really the last one.
Yeah, it's less than the next one. I
Around
mean,
for,
you can make the decision now if you want, and then you can go on to the.
Okay, so let's talk about Ladding Road now.
First of all, apologies for cutting everybody off.
No, I did it this morning.
Yeah.
For me, this is the only thing in front of us right now is a zero area variance, a 0 foot setback ask. And while I appreciate all of the other comments, and actually I wrote notes as to a recommendation as how we could write it.
Sorry, Shannon, do we close the public hearing, or is this our deliberations?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I missed that part, thanks.
There's no way to access without granting a variance. I don't think the actual variance is much of a conversation, but I do think we need to give our friends on the planning board some
Right.
input.
Yeah.
My 2 cents.
Yeah, and as long as I couldn't tell, but as long as the driveway's back far enough.
Yep.
From the.
Yeah, as long as you're not, you've checked and none of the other you need no other setbacks if you're only asking for the one, then we're good.
I'm not trying to put the cart before the horse here, but I mean, we have 62 days, maybe, I mean, will they look at this and then without us giving the variance and then wait for us to,
They wait for us.
No, they wait for you.
I mean, I would just like to be, I mean, if this is what they've come up with here, I mean, there's a reason why codes were developed and this is,
I have a question, because it was technically a right of way. Are we, I mean, does that become his property, or is it still right of way?
So right away.
I just wondered if it changed the,
Still right away.
okay.
so services can come down through there, electric and.
Yeah,
It is on a well, and then
Right.
septic, obviously.
Yeah, and there's a whole agreement for maintaining the right of ways and all that other kind of stuff. Somebody has to plow it or shovel.
Sorry.
So right of ways have their own baggage associated with them as far as who maintains them and plows them and shovels them and stones them and all that.
And that'll go through the planning board.
Yep, yep.
Okay, people want to vote?
I'm good.
Call the question.
Shall the request for a 10-foot side setback be granted? Shannon,
Yes,
Jason,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Kelly,
No,
Chip.
Yes. Okay, you said you wrote out a reason.
oh, I didn't write out our reasons. I
Oh,
wrote out
okay.
the thing for the planning board. Yeah. This is a, what is that? The uniqueness of the lot.
Yeah, it's sort of a unique lot in a number of ways. But I think the only variance being asked is just to cross the line.
No,
It's
it's to,
not a significant variance.
just to
even though it's
technically
0
touch
feet.
the line for us, yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Not
Variance
so, not
isn't
so
granted.
creative.
It's not self-created. That's true.
And if the variance isn't granted, it really is not a buildable,
Right.
at least probably not buildable lot. Um, And then I guess I would say the board encourages the planning board.
Our condition, yeah, we want to make a strong recommendation to the planning board to consider drainage in the plans for the site, as well as the impacts of the drainage and runoff to all 4 towns.
All 4 towns, yeah. That's
Basically along the side of the road in the that right of way area, right?
Oh, yeah,
you know,
it's gotta have a over.
yeah, I guess in just terms of describing what we're dealing with. You know, we are looking only at the driveway crossing the property line or a town line, property line. Okay, got everybody confused enough? Okay. Interesting, yeah, sure. All set, no.
Thanks, guys, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Sandy Beach we put off and Harbor Hill we put off. You know. Productive here tonight. Okay, the request for rehearing. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
We
Let's
have
go
to talk
the-
about these
yeah, go
laws.
to Sarah Reynolds. 3 different, new, zoning regulations. You want to go through those? No.
So they are taking out from the code speech for a detached private garage, no, that it says no larger than 900 square feet in area. You're taking that out.
Cool.
So I believe this is specific to the RLD, yes. Okay. The other thing, which they're finally dealing with is generator is not going to be an accessory structure. If there are other accessory structures on the lot, we still have a generator.
Yeah.
And
But it doesn't take away
from, right,
from the side and back variance.
right, exactly. And bisected ones. This one I didn't hear about until this morning, so.
Can you increase the zoom? Can you zoom in on that?
Make it bigger.
Yes,
That'd be helpful, thank you.
Okay, good. What this is actually doing is not allowing someone who has a tiny lot on the lake and 3 acres off the lake to count
Okay,
the 3 acres in the
okay,
other, I think.
So it's on a parcel basis is what you're saying?
for a bisected lot, right.
Okay, gotcha.
And as in the one we did, if it's pre-existing non-conforming, they can do it as long as they don't increase the non-conformity.
Exactly.
Anybody have any
no,
questions or issues with these?
makes sense.
Someone like to make a motion that we,
I just have one quick question. I'm going back to the generators. I mean, the generator thing has turned out to be, you know, the boondoggle anyway, but The only time it's really come into play is in townhouse, that type of development.
Well, that's in the setbacks, those still have to be. abided
So
by.
and that's all I'm just double checking on.
Right.
That's not gonna be, because
No, this is.
there's a big difference between
Yeah.
somebody wanting to put a generator on the side of their house and what we went through for 3 meetings to try to,
Yeah,
Well, this
Though,
is-
like putting it under your neighbor's window?
yeah, I
Right.
don't know.
The ones tonight that was supposed to be here needed variances from the rear and the side to put it where they wanted to put it. That is not affected by this. This is an RLD. You have the generator, it's no bigger than 15 square feet, which most of them aren't. And it will not count towards the accessory structures.
Okay, then, I'm sorry, I just wanted to double check.
and there's
that.
a standard distance they have to be away from. the
Yes,
house.
well, that goes with the, yeah, that's just fire code.
I was gonna ask the same thing, Dave, so you're good. Scary one, we're on the same page.
Do we need to make a motion to approve these or just,
It's your
No,
recommendation.
you have an option to comment, but are not required to.
okay,
So if, unless you have specific comments, just leave it at that.
Mm.
just comment that
We can comment that we've reviewed and see no,
they're in conformance with what we've.
Have no objection.
have no objection. I like it that way.
We've pretty much, I think we've approved all of them other than just like what Dave and I were talking about. I mean, when they're impeding on your neighbors, so to speak, I'm thinking.
Right. Guess we have no objection to the proposals. Okay, let's see, referrals from the town board,
So the-
town manager. Ordinance committee referrals. Other business. I guess we have 2 months of meetings.
Yep,
to approve.
January. You brought them up in the last one I listened to the Zoom, but you didn't vote on them.
Ah, okay,
You brought it up and then you started talking about something else that didn't get voted on.
so the first motion need to be for January. Okay.
I'll motion
Second,
to approve the January.
for second,
I second, I was in January.
um. All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Okay. And February minutes,
I'll make a motion to approve.
okay, for second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
I,
Okay. You're abstaining, right?
I'm abstaining.
outstanding, is that what you just said?
No, I think he's a contrarian.
Yeah, yeah.
How about next meeting, how's that looking?
So far, not bad. Also, maybe one variance so far in my applications.
Oh, I know we have two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sorry.
I tried.
I'll reach out.
You
to
did, you
them
did.
this week and make sure that they know, it should be there.
Maybe we do want to, I mean, we've never really come across that in the past where people are no showing. So I don't know if we need to add anything, but it starts to become a habit, maybe, you know?
Yeah, I don't. We need a specific. And there are circumstances which can change, might have you allow 3 on some people and you may not want to allow more than 1 on somebody else.
We can visit this on April 15th. If they don't show, then.
Yeah.
Then maybe you got a cause.
Makes you wonder about the need for the variance too, for not responding.
Mhm.
Oh, probably go ahead and build up then.
There's always that.
Could be too.
Okay, anything else anyone have? A motion to adjourn,
I motion.
I second.
all in favor?
I.
I-
Okay, thank you very much.